Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the PivotBoss pre-market video for Thursday, August 30th, 2018. I am Frank Ochoa, aka PivotBoss. Here's a look at the daily time frame of the ES. One thing that we've been talking about is this larger key range here. You have this big key range that we've been talking about since the very beginning of the year. I mentioned and those first few days when this thing dropped down to these lows, I mentioned first, let's look for a pullback to the midpoint, 2703.75, and then we're likely going to see 6 or 8 or 9 months of sideways as price is likely going to maintain when inside that range. Eventually we'll see expansion, and that could be huge. Are we seeing that expansion right now? Is this the beginning of a breakout through 28.78.5 that is going to lead to the next 500-point rally? Are we headed to 3,500? Somewhere around there. That's the question we have to ask with being above 28.78.5 on a longer term basis. If you look up here, the 100% target takes you to 32.28. So not quite 3,500, but I mean, the idea is that this thing would push quite a ways to get to that 100% target, but with as much sideways as we have, we might likely push through that 100% target. That's why I mentioned something like 3,500 down the road. Is that something we're about to do? We'll be talking next week. On Tuesday will be the monthly market outlook for the month of September. You're welcome to join me. It's usually right after the market closes, around 3:30 p.m. Central Time. I'll email out some instructions for that, but we'll talk longer term direction for this because this could be significant. Now keep in mind also, again, we're talking long term here, or even a few weeks out from now. If price stays above 28.78.5 but doesn't really push to new highs and doesn't really push through and continue higher, this could be an opening for a return back down by some measure. The midpoint would be 2,700. That's about as far as I could see us going right now. 2790 would be a great target as well. Those are some of the things to keep in mind if price cannot maintain acceptance above 28.78.5. Until that time, however, this train is still going up. It's still quite bullish. You can see the stacked and sloped PIMAs here, pullbacks into the trigger zone as deep as the 2880, 2870s. That could provide a great buying opportunity for a continuation higher. Right now things are kind of quiet as we head into the holiday shortened week ahead, but nonetheless things are still floating up unless price fails to hold above this zone. So we could drop as deep as that over the next several days and still be a great buying opportunity for another wave higher. Alright, taking a look at the NQ, very similar type of price action, straight move up in the previous few days, a nice continuation toward a cycle high. We are through the previous month's high. You have a nice ascending type of pattern here that has gotten expansion to the upside. Again, any pullbacks into that 75.15 zone, 7,500 could be a great buying opportunity in the week ahead. So we could start our week next week with a pullback into the pivot range when we've had higher value month over month. That first pullback into that zone could be a great buying opportunity as deep as 74.40 for a continuation toward 8K. So this could be a very solid move up. Again, we'll be looking to see if there's any pullback that comes to start the month of September for a buying opportunity. Looking at crude oil, this one has been strong. Again, this is the strongest bounce we've seen in quite a while. It all happened down here with this very narrow range. Price broke above the 66 zone, and then from there we've rallied now into 70, where we are trading 70 even. That is a solid move back to resistance where we have sold off each of the last 3 times. Are we about to see another return down? If so, 66.30 is the likely pullback zone, as deep as we can go based off of this market structure. Acceptance above 70 starts to open a little bit more upside, but again, this has been an area that has been offered quite a bit lately, so it's going to be uphill pushing here to get through 70. So we'll keep an eye on this area. If you take a look now at gold, you'll notice right now we have a great pullback that's occurred over the last day or two, but still maintaining market structure. So we have a couple of levels here. 1190, a major market structure level. Price pushed through it, made it support. And then you have the 1204, which is a key level, and 1210, kind of a zone. Price pushes through that, and right now attempting to make it support. This is another opportunity here where bulls are taking this time to build a position ahead of what they anticipate will be a squeeze back toward 1240 to 1233.70. So in that zone, 1235 to 1240, we could be looking at the next target move ahead. Any failure to hold, say 1204, doesn't necessarily kill the pattern, but we could be looking at a retest back at 1190, which really needs to hold in that scenario. Lastly, looking at Bitcoin. Bitcoin had quite the pop up in recent trading here, pushing through the tail of this rejection candle here. That's very bullish in most cases. I mentioned that any pullback as deep as 6,700 could still be a buying opportunity for a continuation toward 8K to 82.50. That CVPOC right there is a great target. And so right now we're getting the pullback. There could still be another day or so of pullback, but again, that could provide a great bounce ahead. So bulls need to keep 6,700 bid on a retest in Bitcoin. All right, that is it for now. Let's see how this plays out heading into the rest of the session. Good luck and trade well.